Good morning children, how are you all? Hope you're all doing good, hope you're all fine. Children, today I'm going to start with a new lesson. So before starting a lesson, I want you all to be ready with your Sparrow Send to Textbook. Take out page number 23. Okay? Take out page number 23 in English 1, lesson number 4, The Frog Prince. Okay? And I want you also to be ready with your pencil. Okay children? Take out page number 23, The Frog Prince. So before starting a lesson, I have written new words along with the meanings. Let me go through. Even I also want you to read along with me. Okay children? Yes. So English 1, so lesson number 4. So what is the name of the lesson children? The Frog Prince. This is a story of The Frog Prince. Okay? Yes. So meanings. So wonder. So what is the meaning of wonder? Move about casually. Tossing, throwing or flick up. Bitterly, weeping distressfully. Clatter, loud rattling sound. Frown, displeased. Dreadful, extremely bad. Astonished, amazed. Consent, to permit. Gazing, to look steadily with courtesy. So there are some more meanings in your textbook I want you to go through. So now be ready with your book, page number 23. As I am reading, even I also want you also to read along with me. Okay children, let me start. Lesson number 4, The Frog Prince. Once upon a time, there lived a king who had a beautiful daughter. There was no one to play with the princess. Very often, she used to wander in the woods around the palace. One day, she was playing with her golden ball near a pond in the woods. She was tossing the ball high into the air and catching it as it fell. Once the princess threw the ball up so high that when she stretched out her hand to catch it, the ball bounced on the stones and fell with a splash in the pond. She ran to the edge of the pond to catch the ball, but the golden ball had sunk far, far out of sight. Only a little ring of bubbles could be seen where it had disappeared. She began to cry bitterly. Okay? Can you see the picture of the prince and can you see the picture of the pond and the frog children in the first page? Yes. So once upon a time there lived a king. So once upon a time there lived a king who had a beautiful daughter. So the king had a very beautiful daughter. Can you see the beautiful daughter here? Yes. So beautiful daughter, there was no one to play with the princess. So she was not having any friends to play. So there was no one to play with the princess. Very often she used to wander in the woods. So wander means move about casually, moving here and there. So there was no one to play with the princess very often. She used to wander in the woods around the palace. She was moving from here to there. One day she was playing with her golden ball. So you all play with a ball, no? So here the prince is playing with a golden ball. With the which ball children? With the golden ball. Near a pond in the woods. So where she is playing in the ball, she is playing with the ball near a pond. So this we call as a pond. Okay. So one day she was playing with her golden ball near a pond in the woods. She was tossing the ball high into the air and catching it as it fell. So she was tossing it, she was throwing the ball. So what the prince was doing? So she was throwing the ball high into the air. So you all play with the ball, no? You all throw the ball. So she was throwing the ball so high into the air and catching it as it fell. So when you throw, you will catch the ball, no? Same thing here the prince is doing. Princess is doing. Once the princess threw the ball up so high that when she stretched out her hand to catch it, the ball bounced on the stones and fell with a splash into the pond. So the princess was throwing the ball. No children, what happened? When she stretched out her hand, she was stretching her hand. So to catch it, the ball bounced onto the stones. So it will bounce. It will bounce. No, when you throw, the ball will bounce and it will go out on children. So ball bounced on the stones. So the ball bounced on the stones and fell with a splash into the water. So if something gets into the water, what will happen? It will splash. It's not, if you try something, put it into the river or to the pond, something, it will splash on children. Same thing when it fell. So the water splashed into the pond. She ran to the edge of the pond to catch the ball. So when it fell down, she ran. So she ran to pond to catch the ball. But the golden ball had sunk far. So it went very, very far. Far outside. So it was not able to see. It was out of sight. Only a little ring of bubbles could be seen where it had disappeared. Only she is not able to see the ball. Only what she can see, children? She can see the bubbles. Yes, no, you can see the bubbles could be seen where it had disappeared. So the ball has got disappeared. She began to cry bitterly. So what is the meaning of bitterly? Weeping, crying without control. If you lose something, you will start crying. No, I lost this, I need this, I need so. You will start crying. No. So this princess started crying bitterly, means she started weeping and she started crying without control. Hearing her cry, someone said, "Why are you crying, young lady?" So somebody is hearing. So the princess is crying, no children. So somebody is hearing that the noise. So hearing her cry, someone said, "Why are you crying, young lady?" So who is somebody is asking, "Why are you crying, young lady?" She looked around to see who was talking to her. So if somebody is talking, we look around, who is calling me? Somebody is calling me. No, nobody is there. So some will see who is calling me. So same way here, the princess, she started looking around. So she looked around to see who was talking to her. She could not see anyone. So when she turned, so she could not see anyone. Soon the voice spoke to her again. When she turned around, she saw an ugly frog sitting on a lotus leaf talking to her. She was startled to see a frog talking like human being. So what happened when somebody is asking you, so what happened? So you will be able to see that person. But here the princess is not able to see that who is calling me. So why are you crying? Who is that? Who is she? Started looking around. So she could not see anyone. Soon the voice spoke her again. Again the voice. Only she can hear the voice. She is not able to see. Again the voice spoke again. When she turned around. So when she turned around, she saw an ugly frog. So she saw an what, children? She saw an ugly frog sitting on a lotus leaf. Can you see, children, here? Can you see the picture of here? So the frog is sitting on a lotus leaf. So when she turned around, she saw an ugly frog sitting on a lotus leaf talking to her. So who is talking to her, children? So ugly frog is talking to the princess. She was startled to see a frog talking. Startled means what? She got shocked. So how can this frog will be able to speak? Will you believe? No. Same way here, the princess is very shocked that the frog is also able to speak like a human being. Okay. She was startled to see a frog talking like human being. Startled means shocked. She got shocked that even the frog can also speak. I have lost my golden ball. So the princess is saying to a frog, "I have lost my golden ball." Said the princess, "It has fallen into the pond." So where the ball has fallen, it has fallen into the pond. How will I play now? So say everything she is saying to a ugly frog. Who? The princess. "Don't cry, princess," the frog said. "What will you give me if I bring?" Turn the page, children. So what the frog is saying to the princess? "Don't cry, princess," the frog said. "What will you give me if I bring your ball from the bottom of the pond?" So what the frog is saying to the princess? So don't cry. So the frog said, "What will you give me?" So what will you give me if I bring your golden ball from the bottom of the pond? So what will you give me? Who is asking? The ugly frog is asking to the princess. So what will you give me if I bring the ball from the bottom of the pond? Who is asking? Frog is asking to the princess. "Oh, I will give you anything I have," replied the princess. "My pretty pearls, my diamonds, even my crown. Please bring my ball back to me." So what the princess replied to frog? So what will you give me if I bring the ball from the bottom of the pond? So the princess replied to the frog, oh, I will give you anything I have, replied the princess. So I am going to give anything. So she is promising to the frog, I am going to give you anything. My pretty pearls, my diamonds, even my crown. So I am going to give my diamonds, pearls, even my crown. Please bring my ball back to me. Please, I am going to give anything, whatever you ask me. So please bring my ball back to me. Who is saying? The princess is saying to a frog. I do not want your pearls or your diamonds or your crown. So the frog is saying, I do not want your pearls or I do not want your diamonds or crown. Said the frog, but if you will promise to love me and let me eat from your plate and drink out of your cup and sleep on your bed, I will bring your ball safely back to you. So what the frog is saying, I don't want your pearls, I don't want your diamonds and the crown. So what I want, so what the frog wants, children? Said the frog, if you promise me that you love me, if you love me and let me eat from your plate. So whatever you are eating, let me eat from your plate and drink out of your cup. So whatever she is drinking, let me drink out of your cup and sleep on your bed. So and sleep on your bed. So if you promise me all this, I will go and bring the ball back. Who is saying? The frog is saying to a princess. So I will bring your ball safely back to you if you allow me to eat in your plate, allow me to drink in your cup, allow me to sleep in your bed. So who is asking? The frog is asking to a princess. And the princess promised, for she said to herself, what a silly frog. Excuse me, children. What a silly frog, as if he could ever get out of the pond and walk all the way to the palace, he will never find me. So what she is thinking, and she promised to the frog. So what did she reply? So she said to herself, the princess is saying in her mind to herself, what a silly frog, as if he could ever get out of the pond. So if you go and find the ball, so when he throw out the ball and he cannot able to come out from the pond, so as he could ever get out of the pond and walk all the way to the palace, he won't be able to walk to the palace. Who is thinking? The princess is thinking, he will never find me. So if I go, so he never find me. Who is thinking like this? Princess. The frog down to the bottom of the pond and came up with a golden ball in his mouth. The princess picked up the ball and ran away without even thanking the frog. Wait, wait, you can't break your promise. Don't let me alone, croaked the frog loudly. But the princess could not hear a thing. She forgot all about her promise and ran back to the palace, laughing with joy. So what happened, children? The frog down means what? Jumped. So the frog jumped into the pond and came up with the golden ball. So whatever frog promised, so he jumped into the pond and he came up with the golden ball in his mouth. So in his mouth he catch the ball. The princess picked up the ball. So as soon as the princess saw the ball in the frog mouth, she picked the ball and ran away. So as soon as she got the ball, what did the princess do, children? She ran away without even thanking the frog. So as soon as she got the ball, the golden ball, so she picked the ball from the frog mouth, and what did she do? She ran away without even thanking the frog. Wait, wait, you can't break your promise. So what the frog is saying? So she is running to the palace, no? What the frog is saying? Wait, wait, you can't break your promise. Who is saying? The frog is saying you can't break your promise. Don't leave me alone. So the frog is saying, don't leave me alone. Croaked the frog loudly, but the princess could not hear a thing. So he's shouting. Croak means what, children? Low pitched sound of a frog. He's shouting. So but then also she didn't even turn to the frog. Who? The princess. She forgot all about her promise and ran back to the palace laughing with joy. See, she forgot. Who? The princess forgot all about her promise, whatever she has promised to the frog. She forgot the promise. So as soon as she got the ball, she ran away back to his palace by laughing with joy, with a happy. The next day, as she sat at dinner with the king, there was a knock at the door. The next day, so what happened? She reached to the palace, the children. The next day, as she was sitting with a dinner with the king, there was a knock at the door. So when she was having a dinner, there was a knock sound at the door, and a voice said, "Little princess, open the door. I am your friend. I will stay with you." So when there was a knock sound, so when they were having dinner, the princess and the king, the voice said, so somebody is calling from the outside, no? The voice said, "Little princess, open the door." So who is saying? Little princess, open the door, I am your friend. So after knocking the door, what he is saying? I am your friend, open the door, I want to stay with you, I will stay with you. So, and the voice said, "Little princess, open the door, I am your friend, I will stay with you." The princess dropped her spoon with a clatter on her plate. So the princess, when she was having dinner, no, so she dropped her spoon with a clatter on her plate. Clatter means with a loud sound. So clatter on her plate, for she knew it was a frog who had come to claim her promise. She came to know that that is a frog. So he came to claim her promise. So whatever the promises was, no, she was breaking her promise, no, he came to claim her promise. "What is the matter, daughter?" the king is asking. So when she dropped a spoon with a very loud sound, so the king got surprised. So the king is asking to her daughter, "What is the matter, daughter?" asked the king. "There is someone knocking at the door. Your rosy cheeks are quite pale." So what happened? So this is, what is the matter, daughter? So the king is asking, "What is the matter, daughter?" asked the king. "There is someone knocking at the door." So the king is saying, there is someone knocking the door, and your rosy cheeks are quite pale. So rosy cheeks, these are the rosy cheeks, no? It was quite pale means there is a shock on her face, there is a fear on her face, because the frog has come to claim her promise. Then the princess had to tell her father all that had happened the day before. So she started telling to her father what has happened in the pond. And the princess had to tell her father that had happened the day before, how she had dropped her golden ball into the pond, and how the frog had brought it up, and the promises she had given him. So whatever the story was happened, everything she was telling to her father, who? The princess. The king frowned and said, "People you make promises must keep them upon the door and let the frog come in." So the king got very, he was not happy with the princess. So the king frowned and said, so he was unhappy, because if you give promise, you have to keep up the promise. You are not supposed to break it. So the king frowned and said, "People you make promise must keep them." So if you make promise, what you need to do, children? You have to keep them. "Open the door and let the frog come in." So open the door, let the frog come in. Who is saying? The king. His father is saying, so open the door, let the frog come in. The princess opened the door very unwillingly, and the poor frog hopped into the room, looking up into her face with his ugly little eyes. The princess, so his father told, no, go and open the door. So what did the princess do, children? The princess opened the door very unwillingly, without we will do some work with willingly. So by forcingly she is going and opening the door. So what did the frog do? The poor frog hopped into the room. The frog, as soon as she opened the door, so the frog hopped into the room, looking up into her face with his ugly little eyes. So looking up into her face with his ugly little eyes. "Let me up beside you," he cried, "that I may eat from your plate and drink out of your cup." So what the ugly frog is saying to the prince? "Let me up beside you." So let me sit beside you. He cried. So he started crying, "that I may eat from your plate." So let me eat from your plate. Let me drink from your cup. Okay, that was the promise. He told, no, I need this. I don't want any pearls. I don't want any diamonds. I don't want any crown. Just I want to eat in your plate. I want to drink in your cup, and I want to sleep in your bed. That was his promise, no children. So that I may eat from your plate and drink out of your cup. The princess did as she asked her, and it was obliged to finish her dinner with the frog beside her. Obliged means with a grateful, she finished her dinner with the frog. So she sat with the frog, everything she shared with the frog, and she finished her dinner with the frog beside her. For the king sat by the sea, that she fulfilled her promise. Even the king was sitting along with them, whether she is fulfilling the frog promise. When they had finished, the frog said, I have had enough to eat now. I am tired. Take me up and lay me on your pillow so that I may go to sleep. Can you see here the frog is eating? Yes, can you see the picture of the frog, children? It is eating. Yes. So now he is very tired after having something and after drinking. So he's very tired. Who? The frog. So what he is saying? So when they had finished, the frog said, okay, I had enough to eat. So I had enough to eat. Now I'm tired. So now I'm tired. Take me up and lay me on your pillow. So take me up and lay me on your pillow. Okay, so that I may go to sleep. So that I may go to sleep. Who is saying? The frog is saying to who? To princess. Then the princess began to cry. So now it is okay. Let him eat in my plate. Let him drink in my cup. So how can I make this frog to sleep in on my bed or near the pillow? So the princess, began to cry. It was so dreadful to think that an ugly frog should sleep in her pretty white bed. So what happened to the princess? It was so dreadful, means she was extremely bad of feeling bad. She's feeling so dreadful means extremely bad, and she's feeling very bad. How can this frog, ugly frog, so how can this ugly frog should sleep in my pretty white bed? How can I make this ugly frog to sleep on my pretty white bed? Who is thinking? The princess. But her father frowned again and said, people you make promises must keep them. You gave you back your golden ball, and you must do as he asked. Yes, he has written your golden ball, no? So whatever he say, you need to follow. Who is saying? The king is saying to the princess. So the princess picked the frog up and carried him upstairs and put him on a pillow on her bed. There he slept all night long. As soon as it was light, he jumped up, hopped downstairs and went out of the palace. So the princess, the father told her, you are not supposed to break the promise. If you keep the promise, you have to follow it. So the princess she picked the frog up and carried him upstairs and put him on the pillow. So she put the frog on the pillow on her bed, and then he slept all night along. So he slept whole night along with princess. As soon as it was light, so it was a light, he jumped up, hopped downstairs, and he went out of the palace. So when there is a sunlight, so what did he do? He hopped and he downstairs, and he went out of the palace. Now thought the princess, he is gone and I shall not be troubled by him anymore. So what the princess is thinking? Now though the princess, he has gone. Who? The frog has gone. I shall not be troubled by him. I won't be troubled by him. So now the frog won't be troubled to me anymore. Who is thinking like this? The princess. But she was mistaken, for when night came again, she heard tapping at the door of her bedroom. When she opened it, the frog came and it slept upon her pillow as before until the morning broke. The third night, he did the same, but when the princess awoke the following morning, she was astonished to see, instead of the frog, a handsome prince standing beside her bed. She was gazing at her with the most beautiful eyes that she had ever seen. So what happened now? Now she is very happy that the frog has gone. He is not going to come back and he is not going to trouble me. Who is thinking like this? The princess is thinking like this. But what happened? That is her mistaken. So she mistook, for when the night came again. So when the night came again, she heard tapping the door of her bedroom. So she heard a tapping sound on her bedroom. When she opened it, the frog came and slept upon her pillow. When she opened the door, so as soon as she opened, the frog came and slept on her pillow as before until the morning. Again he is sleeping until the morning. The third night he did the same. Even the third night, the first night, the second night and the third night, same thing it was repeating. The third night he did the same. But when the princess awoke the following morning, so when she wake up, when the princess woke for the following morning, the fourth day, she was astonished to see. Astonished means she was amazed to see, instead of a frog, a handsome prince standing beside her bed. So the fourth night what happened? The fourth day what happened? Instead of a frog, who is standing next to her? Okay, a handsome boy, a handsome prince standing beside her bed. So instead of the frog, what did she see, children? She saw she saw a handsome prince standing beside her bed. He was gazing at her with the most beautiful eyes that she had ever seen. So he was gazing. What do you mean by gazing? To look steadily with courtesy. So she was gazing at her with the most beautiful eyes that she had ever seen that handsome person, who? The prince. He thanked the princess and told her that he had been cursed by a wicked witch. Okay, so he is thanking who? That prince is thanking to the princess. He thanked the princess and told her that he had been cursed by the wicked and witch. So wicked means what, children? Like cruel woman. ಶಾಪ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಶಾಪ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಬ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಮಹಾಭಾರತ ರಾಮಾಯಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ ಆಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಪ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿಜ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So it was cursed by whom? It was cursed by the cruel human that. So it was cursed. So ಶಾಪ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಈ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸ್ಗೆ. So he thanked the princess and told her that he had been cursed by the wicked, which means by a cruel woman. ಶಾಪ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನಂತ? So cruel woman who had changed him into a frog. So they had changed the prince to the frog. The curse would go away only if a princess let him sleep. So the curse, so ಇದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇದಾಗೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so the curse would, so because of that curse the prince became a frog. Okay, the curse would go away. So how this curse will go away? Only if a princess let him sleep upon her bed for 3 nights. How this curse will go, children? If the princess, only if the princess let him sleep on her bed for 3 nights. Yes, so the frog slept for 3 nights, no? On the fourth day, what did she see next to her bed? She saw a handsome prince. So how the curse, now the curse went, no? The curse would go away only if a princess let him to sleep on her bed for 3 nights. So what was the curse, children? So because of the curse, so the prince had changed him to a frog. The curse would go away. So how the curse will go away? So the curse would go away only if a princess let him to sleep for 3 nights on her bed. Yes, so the frog slept on the princess' bed for 3 nights. You, said the prince, have broken his cruel spell and now I am free. So you, said the prince, you have broken this cruel spell and now I am free. So now I am free. So now I got everything away from this. So come along with me to my father's kingdom. So the prince is saying to the princess, now come along with me to my father's kingdom. So you have to come along with me to my father's kingdom, where I will marry you and love you as long as you live. So I am going to marry you, I am going to love you, so as long as you live. The princess took him to her father and he gave his consent for them to marry. The princess, so what the princess do, children? The princess took him to her father. So as soon as everything, the story was told to the king from princess, the princess took him to the father and gave him the consent, means permission. The king gave the permission for them to marry. The prince took his princess to his land. So even the prince's father gave him the permission to get married. So what did the prince do? The prince took his princess to his land, to his kingdom. There they arrived safely and lived happily ever after. So they arrived to that place and they will safely reach to that place, and from now onwards they are living happily forever. So this is the story of what, children? The Frog Prince. I want you all to go through the lesson, read the lesson, try to understand and read the meanings. Okay, children? Now we will do the textbook exercise part. So I want you all to be ready with your pencil. Page number 27. Take out page number 27. Okay, children, I hope everyone are ready with your pencil. Page number 27. So take out page number 27. Exercise A. Okay, exercise A. Fill in the blanks. There was no one to play with the whom, children? There was no one to play with the princess. So the first one is princess. Say and write neatly. Princess. Princess. One day she was playing with her dash ball near a pond in the woods. So one day she was playing with what, children? She was playing with the golden ball. So golden. 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 Okay, next. The princess was startled to see a dash talking like human being. Who, children? Who was talking like a human being? Frog. So say and write neatly. Frog. Frog. The dash picked up the ball and ran away without even dash the frog. The princess picked up the ball. The princess picked up the ball and ran away without even thanking the frog. So in the first dash you write princess. Okay. In the next what, children? Without thanking, she left the place, no? Thanking. Next. The frog turned into a handsome what? The frog turned into a handsome prince. 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 Okay. Next is exercise B. True or false. Once upon a time there lived a king who had a beautiful prince. So once upon a time there lived a king who had a beautiful prince. False. One day she was playing with her silver ball in the forest. No, no, children. Wrong. The princess did not want to share her bed with the frog. Yes, no, it is true, no, children? Yes. So the princess did not want to share her bed with the frog. Yes. The frog turned into the handsome prince. Yes, it is true. The prince had been cursed by the wicked witch and only a princess could have rescued him. Yes, true. Okay. Now answer the following will be written in the class book. Now turn the page. Exercise D. Okay. Exercise D. Use the source and find out at least 3 synonyms of the following words. Remember to choose simple words. So with the same meaning, so the word which has the same meaning means it should be the similar. We have to find the simple word. The first one is shore. Shore means what, children? Bank. Bank means what? It is a sloping down to a lake or river. Okay, bank of the river will say, no? Bank. Beach. So the other word present, donation, offering. Okay? Present, P-R-E-S-E-N-T, present, donation, D-O-N-A-T-I-O-N, donation, say and write without making any mistake. Offering, O-F-F-E-R-I-N-G. Okay, offering. Next one, fear. So what do you mean by fear? Panic, dread or fright. So what do you mean by fear, children? Panic, so panic, dread or fright. This all are the similar word to a fear. Next, fourth one, beautiful. So beautiful what, children? Pretty, lovely, charming. Okay, pretty, P-R-E-T-T-Y, pretty, lovely, L-O-V-E-L-Y, lovely, charming, C-H-A-R-M-I-N-G, charming. Okay. Next, destiny. Destiny means what? Future, fortune or fate. Okay, destiny means future, fortune, fate. F-A-T-E, fate. So show what is the other word? Bank, beach, cost. So next is gift. What is the other word? Present, donation, offering. Next, fear, panic, dread, fright, beautiful, pretty, lovely, charming, destiny, future, fortune, fate. Okay, children? Next exercise, look at these words. Okay? Wine and wine, wine or wine, vain or vain. Remember of the sound of W, we have to round our lips and the sound of V and V bring our upper front teeth down and the lower lip. Practice saying it correctly and note the difference in articulation of the sound. You have to practice this sound and you can see the difference also when you are pronouncing the word. Okay? So I want you to read exercise F by yourself, and creative writing is exercise G. Take a look of the fair, big bazaar or circus in your city. Anything you can choose. Fair, big bazaar, circus in your city or a town. Do they require improvement? Write a short paragraph on what you think about them. So exercise G is your homework. Okay? Exercise G is your homework. So you can write any short story about what, children? About a fair or about a big bazaar or about a city or a town. About what? Do they require any improvement in this? Okay, based on that you have to write a short paragraph about this. Okay, this completes this lesson. Make sure to complete the textbook exercise part and read the lesson and read the meanings also. Okay, children? So thank you, children.